Well, a good afternoon, everyone. We are back for the afternoon session of district wrestling here from Wilmington High School on the campus of Wilmington. We're just going to be getting underway in a few minutes. Supposed to start at 4?
Yes.
All right, so we should be good to go here, very shortly. Rick Phillips and Brian Penix. Brian's going to be, he's the one with all the brains and the knowledge as far as wrestling. Years of experience, years.
I'm not sure about knowledge. Years of experience.
And I am the one that tries to keep us on the air and everything working. Dean Thompson on our live camera. When I say live, we have 2 static cameras, one here in the crow's nest of Wilmington High School in the press box, and then one on one corner of the floor. Each one's directed at a mat. We have a split screen setup. Actually, there's 3 screens, one on each mat number, and they changed. They're back to 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And you can also follow all the live stats on Baum's page on the internet, so that is updated frequently, and that will give you an indication. Now, earlier, have we got the winners from this morning as far as the lighter weight classes?
Yes.
And they are?
The first place finisher for 106 is Barrick Jordan from Graham. 113 is Michaela O'Leary from Wyoming. 120 is Brandon Sutter from Batavia. 126 is Nolan Gressler from Graham. 132 is Nick Hart from Graham. 138 is Nick Moore from Graham. And 145 is Alec Martin from Graham.
And Graham just happens to be leading this tournament.
Yep.
In fact, they've led it from the beginning, should we say, when we started
Thursday.
For Thursday night. And, of course, all the action being brought to you by our sole sponsor here, and Sam's Meats in Wilmington, Ohio, doing those honors. They sponsored us on Thursday and Friday and also throughout today. We expect to be probably on the air till about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. We figure that. Did you want to take a stab at a time tonight,
Well,
Brian?
let's see. We're starting at 4. The last session went from 10 to 1. So, yeah, let's go with 7:15 tonight.
7:15. Okay. All right. Well, you were close last night.
Wasn't bad. I was a little over, but the bigger guys have a tendency to get
slow
more
things down.
To get more pins.
Speed things up.
Yeah, some of their matches go a little quicker, but with the place matches at the end of tonight's session, they'll break in between each weight class to allow parents to take pictures of the
crown
finalists.
Champions.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So that does slow things down a tad, but anyway. So let me put a plug in here quickly for our sponsor. Sports fans, stop by Sam's Meats in Wilmington, Ohio, and support a locally owned and operated business. Sam's Meats has fresh chicken, pork, and beef, along with deli cheeses and lunch meats. Their meat deals are a great way to buy in bulk, helping you save money and save time. Dine in and enjoy homemade hot bar meals from our made-to-order grill menu. Sam's Meats also offers catering, party trays, and a variety of homemade desserts. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. So you got a couple hours. You can head over while you're listening on your cell phone to the broadcast on Campus Nation. Did you get some lunch?
Yep. I stopped over at Roosters and had
Roosters.
Had some wings.
Well, Dean and I went over to Skyline.
Yeah.
We split between Gold Star and Skyline. I try to keep feeding local businesses here, and I got a good friend that owns the Gold Star. I'm not sure who owns the Skyline, but still they're local. The kids that work there are local, so. So I guess we're going to start with the national anthem.
Yes.
So we will take a break here for the national anthem, and we will return with all the action. All right, good rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. And for you people that are watching on the internet, we'd like to tell you that there's a split screen. There are actually 4 screens. 2 of them are the same, but going from the bottom left up, bottom left is mat number 1. The upper left is mat number 2, and actually mat number 1 is the upper right, isn't it?
Yeah, mat number 1's back to the upper right.
Yeah, we've changed it around again. So mat number 3 is the bottom left. Mat number 2 is the upper left. And mat number 1 is the upper right. Now, the mat down in the other corner is the same as the mat number 2. But that's just because we've got our sponsor's logo there so that it can be seen on the screen. But anyway, we're going to be getting underway here. We're going into the heavier weight classes, and we will start with the 152-pounders. Still not quite up to my weight, but
Yeah, mine neither.
but
I weighed 152 once.
I weighed 145 throughout high school. I ran the 2-mile track, so that was the only time that, that's the only reason probably that I even maintained that weight through high school. But then what happens is, you grow up, you get older, you get married, and you get fat.
Yeah, metabolism slows down a little bit.
That's right. And so you...
stress increases a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, wrestlers are coming out to their assigned mats to get started. On mat number 1, or mat number 2, that's again in the top left. It's going to be Hank Williams from Bethel Tate. We're wrestling Trace Braun from Graham. Hank Williams is one of my favorite wrestling names. On mat number 3 is going to be Douglas Terry from Granville and John Woodward from Goshen. And then there'll be wrestling consolation matches on mat 1 for the time being. And it looks like there's going to be Brian from Wyoming and Spears from Franklin. And Franklin this time wearing their camouflage white and black with the red paw print.
So they've changed up their singlets. They also wore the same ones this morning, I think, didn't they?
I think maybe in the consolation rounds, and then the guys in the championship were wearing that red and white. But on mat 2, Bethel Tate's wearing the red with the gray, and Graham will be wearing the black with the white portion on top. On mat number 3, Goshen's wearing black and red, and Woodward has his name on the back, which is helpful to us.
But not the school that he goes to.
No, the school's on the front, so I'll have to spin around, I guess.
I made that mistake Thursday night.
Yeah. We're going to start just a couple minutes early. Bethel Tate and Graham starts us off. Graham's quickly in a front head position, front headlock. He hooks the ankle, and they're going to go out of bounds before points are awarded. So Mr. Williams from Bethel Tate doing a good job defending on the edge. On mat number 3, Grenville is Terry is wearing navy blue with white top. And now Graham gets a takedown on mat number 2 on the edge. And Terry, that should be, well, Terry from Granville is in position to score. He's got to keep his hips up a little bit and keep that leg hooked. He's got a leg in now. I'm not really sure. There it is. 2 points for the takedown. On mat number 1, it's 3-1. Wyoming is leading. Hopefully this session we'll have a couple exciting matches like we did last.
We had some
Last
interesting
session,
sessions,
yeah.
and including a what's the ultimate,
The ultimate
overtime?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
All the way to the ultimate tiebreaker. Bethel Tate is in a near cradle now on mat 1, and Graham, Trace Braun from Graham gets the pin. Just over a minute into the first period. If they win the matches on match 2 and 3 right now, they'll be going for first later this evening. If you lose on those 2 matches, you'll drop down in the consolation bracket, and you still have a chance to go to state. You'll just have to win your next match.
Now, state is the top 4 qualifiers. Is that correct?
Top 4 qualifiers from here move on, and they're wrestling next weekend at Highland High School. It's Marengo Highland High School, just north of Westerville, north of Columbus. And Google Maps says it's 2 hours from here, so
Not a bad drive.
not too bad from here.
Nice little road trip.
It looks like Wyoming gets the pin on mat number 1, so he'll advance into the consolation semifinals. One more match win will put him into the state tournament. Okay, and now we have on mat number 2. That is Gunnar Cramblett from Graham and Dylan Dotson from Licking Valley. Graham wrestler is only a freshman, and Dylan Dotson's a senior, and Dylan was the champion here last year at 160 pounds, so
Be an interesting match.
it should be. Over on mat number 3, Terry from Granville is opened up a commanding lead, 10-0. He just turned and getting more near fall points here and secures the pin just into the second period. So
Now, I don't know that we've ever. Do they have tech falls in these?
yes.
Okay, so tech falls win by 15?
Yes.
Okay.
The 15-point differential gives you a tech fall. It's a half a point less in the team scoring system, but it does represent a dominant win.
Right.
On mat number 3 now, we have Gage Houston from Blanchester and Antoine Burns from London. Burns is wearing white and red pinstripes, and Houston from Blanchester is wearing a green and navy blue combination singlet with their logo on the back. I happen to know the former athletic director that purchased those singlets. So.
Oh, okay. Is he any relation to you?
yeah. He's my inner twin.
self.
Yeah, my inner self. So.
Well, they're nice looking singlets there.
Thank you. Fortunately, Mr. Houston caught himself in a head and arm position, and Burns capitalized, putting him on his back. He's in a position to continue rolling through to get off his back, and he does. He fights out of that position, but Burns goes right into another pinning combination. So this is a unfortunate start and finish for Houston, and it sounds like the London contingent must be pretty
They're
close
outside
to
our door.
booth,
Yeah,
so.
they're outside our door. You know, there's a contingent of London family members.
All right, so that drops Gage Houston down into the consolation semifinals, which 297. He's going to be wrestling the winner of the Ross, Wyoming consolation match coming up here shortly on mat number 1. And now on mat number 3, Gage's teammate, Colt Conover, will be wrestling Dylan Newsom from Hartley. Mr. Newsom is currently 41-0 in this year's campaign, and he's quickly in on a low single takedown. Conover defends, and Newsom continues to go back and forth and finish that takedown. And like Newsom's from, I think that's Bishop Hartley from around Columbus.
Right.
And they're wearing gray with the blue eagle. There's blood time on mat number 2. They're being taken care of, and it looks like on mat number 1 there was just a forfeit, 326.
220s, they're going to the bullpen. 220 pound wrestlers, they go back to bullpen.
Maybe that was the forfeit at 325. I think Boyle from Ross earned a forfeit. I heard in between rounds that the Wyoming wrestler might have not been able to wrestle this afternoon.
Was it a weight thing?
No, I think it might have been an injury.
Oh, earlier.
It was, something he received yesterday. That's not official. I'm not sure about that. Mat number 3, Newsom continues his unbeaten season with the pinfall in the first period over Colt Conover. Mr. Conover, Colt will have drop down and wrestle the winner of a Highland versus Indian Hill match coming up here in the Consolation round. So again, if you lose in the matches wrestled on mat 2 and 3, you've still got one more chance to win, place top 4, continue the season. If not, you'll be wrestling for 5th and 6th later on this evening, which being a district placer is an accomplishment. It's just one step below what you're
Wanting to
you're
achieve.
trying to achieve.
Right.
So with those 2 quick pins on mat number 3, there's a little bit of delays. Their wrestlers are coming out of the warm-up area to the mat. And that throws the normal timing of things off when there's a couple quick pins. People need a chance to catch up. The Graham wrestlers employing one of his coaches to come over and sit in his corner. Quite sure he doesn't necessarily need a coach, but the rules say somebody's got to be there. So that's going to be a freshman on mat number 3 from Graham, Carter Neves. He is 13-0 on the season. He is wearing the Graham black and white with the gray T-shirt underneath, and his opponent is Jared Hancock from Wyoming. On mat number 2, we still have, I think that's 170 pounders. No, that might be 60 pounders. Yeah, that's 160 pounders. That's still Dotson from Licking Valley and Cramblett from Graham. Dotson from Licking Valley is up 5-0 now. And like I said, he's a returning district champ, and the Graham wrestler's a freshman. And quickly on mat number 3, it's 4-0, 4-2 now. 2 takedowns to none for Neves from Graham. And
More blood on number 2.
another takedown. That was a nice arm drag. Finished with the go behind for the takedown and into an arm bar, into turned already. Hancock's in trouble here, especially if Graham can step over like he did. On mat number 1 is CM from Oakwood and Wickline from Bloom Carroll.
So you're right, the Graham wrestler did not need a coach. He was just finished a pin there.
Yeah, and I think that's probably more like an assistant they have over there than a coach necessarily. But the head coach for Graham is working on mat number 2, so he's not ignoring him. He's just busy.
We got a Massey wrestler coming up on mat 1.
Yeah,
or mat 3.
Mat number 3. They're already up to 195, it looks like.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 182. That's Colton Doyle from Clinton Massey in the red, white, and blue. And he's wrestling Dylan Davidson from Taylor. Taylor with the yellow jacket on their back. And Bloom Carroll is currently up 5-2 on mat number 1. And Colton Doyle gets a takedown for an early 2-point lead. And he'll work that tight waist and attack the left side, picks up the leg, returns him to the mat. Davidson from Taylor is doing a good job keeping his hips up and staying in a decent position. But Doyle's done an equally good job digging out an arm bar, and now he's got the far wrist. He is in a position to turn him. If he stretches him out here, there he goes. He pulls him across his leg a little bit and has him turned. He's getting near fall points now, so he should just maintain that position and get his points and then work on finishing for the pin. Taylor is kicked over somehow. And Clint Massey needs to run his hips to his right and maintain that position. It's 7-2 now on mat number 2. Dotson up. He's been in control the entire match. He's on a leg from the top position, returns him to the mat. Graham does a nice job popping back up. And that's chain wrestling at this level. When one move doesn't work, you got to do 2, 3, 4 in a row, because if you try one, it doesn't work.
Got to come up with something else.
The other guy's going to be trying something, and has a nice little slide by or duck under for Dotson, and he scores again, making it 9-4 after the escape. Over on mat number 3, Doyle from Massey is worked down a near ankle pick to the back. He's got a half Nelson in nice and deep. If Massey puts his head up a little bit, he can get a little more pressure on him and gets the fall. I think they called the fall right when time ran out. So Clinton Massey wrestler is moving on, wrestling for a championship later this evening. And Dotson got the win on mat number 2. On mat number 3, we're getting closer here. It's 6-5 now. All right, on mat number 3 now is returning district champ at 170 pounds, Hayden Daniels. He has bumped up 2 weight classes, and he's wearing the light blue with the Viking helmet on the back, and already with the takedown. He's wrestling Eli Emmons from Baden, Hamilton Baden, wearing the green singlet. So with those quick pins, we're up at 195 on mat 3 and
moving right along.
Still at 170 on mat 2. So you got to keep scrolling back and forth between my brackets. Mat 2 is Frederick from Chaminade Julian, and he's wrestling Starks from Hamilton Baden. So Hamilton Baden's got 2 guys wrestling right now in the championship semis, which is a blessing and a curse because it splits your coaching staff.
Right. Well, Graham has that problem all the time.
Yeah, they do, but
it's a nice problem
like you
to
saw,
have, isn't it?
somebody shows up and sits in the chair, and
it's a nice problem to have.
It's a nice problem. Daniels on mat number 3 has worked at tight waist tilt, earns his 3 points. It's a 5-0, and he's gone back to the. Now he's locking up a near cradle. It looks like no. Okay, he's going with that reverse headlock, and that's going to be extremely tight for Emmons. Yeah, he earns another pin. I believe he's still undefeated on the season. Yeah, that puts Daniels at 43-0. And
not bad.
Not bad. By the looks of how he's wrestling, I bet most of them are by pins. So, all right, up on that number 3 now. We're up to 220 on that mat. We've had, 4 consecutive pins?
Yeah, we're moving right along on that mat. That's a lucky mat.
So Likens from Graham is wrestling Antonio Burns from London. This time London's wearing the black with the white arrowhead and L on the side, and Graham's wearing their Saturday singlet. On mat number 2, Frederick from CJ. He's got a 2-0 lead. with 40 seconds left in the period. And we've got some spectators blocking the view on mat 1, but somebody is up 4-0. And that would be Graham. And that's 327. So that's Greenhouse from Graham. He's wrestling St. Cartier from Goshen. And Graham is in control with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the second period. He's got a inside Turk with his leg there, and he's trying to get some sort of, let's go with that. Probably gonna go out of bounds and start over. Both those wrestlers on mat 3 for being 220, they're moving pretty well.
They are.
Burns and Likens. Burns again from London and Likens from Graham. And Graham with a high crotch takedown finish. And now he's going to work with 15 seconds left on the first period. We're still 2-0 on mat number 2. That's closer than I expected it would be. Frederick is down from CJ. He's quickly to his feet, working on the hands, trying to get an escape. And he will get an escape right into a head and arm. That was a nice chain wrestling. Got the escape, scored the head and arm right on the edge. So I'm not sure if the ref's going to give him an escape and then a takedown. Looks like he gave him a reversal. And then the 2 points for the near fall before they went out of bounds. So the score balloons up to 6-0. On mat number 1, we still have a 6-1 lead for Graham. He's now, he earned a couple more back points there. Frederick has Baden, or had Baden on his back. Now Baden pops up. And Likens on mat 3, the 220 from Graham. He's escaped. 3-0 lead for him. Stark in on a nice double leg, but Frederick defends it very well. Stark switches off from Stark from Baden, goes to a single leg now, but yeah, he needs to continue moving, change directions. They're down on the mat, and limp arms out. That was in a position to score, but he was kind of nonchalant there with his hand fighting, and Frederick walks out of bounds. So we're to 10-2 now. Newhouse from Graham over Goshen. Referee has an inadvertent whistle, so they restart. Likens on mat 3 from Graham. He's defended every offensive attempt made by Burns. And he scored on one of them. Frederick scores again to make it 10-1. So that match went from 2-0 to 10-1
Pretty quick
in the second period alone. So and Baden's going to choose neutral. That's not Emmons. I apologize, Hamilton folks. That's Starks. Caden Starks from Hamilton Baden. He's only a sophomore. Wrestling Frederick, who's a senior. And Frederick was a very high placer last year. Frederick placed 4th here last year, so he was a state qualifier. So the sophomore from Baden is doing fairly well. He's got a takedown now, so it's 10-3. He's going to call Baden for stalling for some unknown reason. Starks is getting some good experience here in the semifinals. A lot of times your first time into a big match like this, it's unnerving and you don't wrestle anywhere like you're supposed to because you're thinking of all the things that can happen or can't happen. And
Right. You overthink it.
you're overthinking. As a sophomore, he's, a 14 or 15-year-old man. And
Right.
but next year, if he comes back, he'll have this experience to fall back on, and the performance is better the second time. Okay, Likens 220 from Graham is now up 5-1. And everything Burns throws at him, he blocks with his hands and chest defense. And Burns is kind of at a loss of what to do once he's underneath there. Mat number 1, consolation round. 15 seconds, they say. 328 is Berger from Indian Hill and Taylor from Highland. Indian Hill's in the black and red, and Berger from Highland is in the red, white, and blue. Berger in on a double leg and scores a 2-point takedown right on the edge. That's a nice finish for the double leg. Highland stands up, Berger drops down to an ankle and lets him go. So 2-1 with 15 seconds left. On mat number 3 is Western Brown's 220-pounder. That's Powell from Western Brown. And he's wrestling Graham from River Valley. River Valley's in the light blue and Western Brown's in their brown and yellow. On mat number 2 is DeSales versus Graham. And that used to be a very common occurrence a few years back when DeSales was really rolling. They would have a ton of state qualifiers, and Graham would too, and they'd beat on each other all through the state tournament. So that is Shulaw from DeSales. He's a freshman, 23-1, and he's wrestling Burrows from Graham, 28-2. Burrows is only a junior himself. These guys are 195 pounds, and that should be 2 for DeSales. Yep, official signals 2. There's locking hands on mat number 1. That's a point you don't want to give away. So now it's 4-1. Berger from Indian Hill is up. Taylor from Highland is on top right now, but does a good job breaking him down. After the first period on mat 3, it scores 0-0. The big guys being kind of patient and feeling each other out. Now Powell stands up right away. He's got to break his hands. Graham does a good job returning him to the mat. Has a spladle in. Okay, and after the first period, the freshman from DeSales is up 2-0. They're going to work on some blood on him. Indian Hill and Highlands is wrestling right on the edge under the side of the stands we can't see, so Looks like Highlands has his leg, and they've gone out of bounds once again. Indian Hill is still down. He's been close to escaping a few times, but Highlands done a good job dropping down to a single leg and working a takedown finish from there. He's got to come up now. Yeah, he works up. Doing a good job. Oh, they called him for stalling anyway. I thought he was doing a decent enough job coming up and trying to finish, but the official sees it differently, which used to happen all the time when I coached. All right, so third period, it's 4-1. Highland chooses down. Indian Hill's on top. I was expecting to let him go. Yep. So now it's 4-2. Highlands at not Berger, he's from Indian Hill. Taylor from Highlands in position to score for the win, but Berger's got a nice short offense there, snaps him down, and is working on a short drag to spin behind for 2. Taylor does a great job staying square, but Berger's right back in on the double leg. So nice series of wrestling by both young men. Berger does get the takedown, so it's now 6-2. Over on mat 3, Graham is up 2-1. On mat 2, it's still the freshman in the third period is up 2-0. I believe that's third period. Eyes are starting to get a little blurry, but it looks like Highland is working on a reversal. Got the reversal, let him go. So 7-4. Berger again with that short offense. And Taylor's got a step over for a takedown. He's tied it up. No, actually he's still down by 1. Coach says let him go, so he lets him go. It's 8-6. Taylor needs a takedown to tie it. Berger needs to maintain good position in the middle of the mat, which he needs to continue wrestling or the official's going to get involved and call a stall. Nobody wants to see that, but Taylor's got it on a double leg. He's on his hip. He stepped over, and so that's 2 points to tie it up.
The fans have definitely gotten louder here.
Yeah,
they're getting into this a lot more.
Yeah, well, in mat 1, we've had a couple very tight matches here. So we're back into overtime. The freshman on mat number 2 from DeSales, he's up now 5-0 with a minute left in the third period, I believe. And we got another tight match on mat number 3. Graham from River Valley is currently up 3-2, and they're wrestling on the edge. Taylor from Highland in on a shot in the overtime period. He's got it deep. If he can finish, he finishes. And there it is, the win. And that's a good match by both those young men. There's a little strategery. I'll try to explain what was going on there as we go through. The Indian Hill kid forfeited it in the championship rounds to drop down in the consolation round, and in order to have what he perceived was a better chance to qualify.
And we mentioned that, didn't we?
Yeah, we were confused on Friday night when he didn't wrestle, but
we said it might be strategic, but it also might backfire.
Yeah,
and it looks like that's what's exactly happening.
He took his shot in the consolation round and ran into a guy as equal as he was, and unfortunately that strategery didn't pay off, and I think I mentioned that last night.
That's right.
I've only seen it pay off very few times. It is an option, and it happens quite a bit, but all right, I'm at number 3, Graham from River Valley. Yeah, Graham from River Valley with a takedown and back points, so he's ballooned his score up to 13-4. Over on mat 2, I tell you what, I'm pretty impressed by that freshman from DeSales.
8-0.
He's up 8-0.
Okay.
And I don't remember looking over there seeing him in any sort of danger. So
No.
he's been in good position throughout. And all right, now this is an interesting matchup on mat number 3. The heavyweight from Ross is undefeated at 36-0. And he was a JV guy. He was behind a really good wrestler from last year. But he's earned his 36 wins this year. And
we've got a London wrestler.
Yeah, the London wrestler placed second last year at this weight class. So these two guys should get after it based on what I've seen them do earlier. Again, Ross is in the gray with the ram. And London was in the white with the red stripe. And that's Huff from London and Peacock from Ross. And Huff with a takedown and a tilt. So we have a heavyweight over there wrestling like a lighter weight. Which is why he was a district runner-up last year. He scores points. All right, on mat number 1, we have, that's going to be,
After the matches in this round are done, we want to take a break to sanitize the mats before we get to the broadcast.
329, that's Yule from Watterson and Harger from Springfield Northwestern. Watterson's in the maroon and Northwestern is in white with the Indian headdress, I think. So we have 8-0 on mat 2. DeSales 95-pounder continuing to stay in good position and attack. He's got an overhook in very deep, so he's in good position not to get scored on. He's kind of playing the edge right now, I think, watching the time tick off. So we'll call that out of bounds. A good call by the officials to put him back on their feet. Mat number 3, Huff from London is doing a good job keeping Peacock from Ross, his hips down on the mat and broken down as he works that near arm. Shulov from DeSales is very comfortable in that overhook position. He's hip to hip and watching the time run off, and he will be a finalist with an 8-0 win. And he will be wrestling Daniels from River Valley. Those two met last week in their sectional. Daniels with the win, and they'll get a rematch a little bit later this evening. Okay, it's still 5-0 on mat number 1 or 3. That five-point first period is hold up. We'll start the second period. On mat number 2 is Ross and Valley View. It's going to be a Conso match. Conso match at 182 pounds. That's Hess from Ross and Creech from Valley View on mat number 2. And we're tied up on mat number 1, 2-2, with 1:20 left. So we are heading into another overtime situation on mat number 1. And again, mat number 1's a consolation round. If they win, they move on. If they lose, their season's over. So whatever those guys have left in the tank, they're going to give.
Got to use it.
And that's why I think we're seeing some tight and overtime scores. All right, Huff looks like he earned another takedown. He's up 7-0 now on Peacock from Ross. There's a warning call now on Watterson on mat number 1. Warning for stalling. He needs to come out to the side and continue to improve That's one of the criteria the officials look for, is that you're working to improve your position at all times. Okay, so now Northwestern gets an escape. He's up 3-2. There's 30 seconds left. Northwestern needs to work himself into a offensive attack here. He can't just stand there and let the time run off. Watterson's going to be content just to circle and stay in the middle. Northwestern, Watterson does a good job there on a leg attack. It's hard to give away stalling points if you're attacking the leg, but Northwestern counters that with good hip action, and he gets a takedown and back points, and that should be the match. So, all right, we're tied up 2-2 on mat number 2. Hess from Ross and Creech from Valley View are wrestling in the consolation round now on mat number 2. And again, they'll put some of the consolation matches out there to slow down the championship rounds, trying to keep the time between matches equal for the participants. Whoa, that's a lot of body going towards that table.
That was, yeah. All the action today being brought to you by our lone and only and exclusive sponsor, Sam's Meats here in Wilmington, Ohio. You're watching CampusNation.com, the Internet Sports Authority. Brian Penix and Rick Phillips bringing you all the action here on the third day of 3 that we've been here.
Well, it's been a lot of fun getting to see good wrestling. And
Right.
on mat number 1 is Oaks from Monroe and Michael from Eaton. Eaton's wearing their black with gold trim this time, and Monroe's got their white, yellow, and blue. Tied up with 20 seconds left, so there was some action, almost a takedown, but they ran out of bounds. And Valley View still tied up 2-2. It's the start of the third period. Ross starts in the down position, which he gets an escape and now is up 3-2.
They're working on the London wrestler.
Yeah, they started heading towards that table, and
You think he caught maybe a leg or something?
I'm not sure if that happened when the officials tried to stop him or if he just tweaked something on his own. He's got a big knee brace there on his right leg, so he's had work done.
Right.
It's usually a brace for a ACL surgery, and I can tell you from experience that those take a long time to heal. But with that being said, he's moving really well for a
Big
heavyweight with a bad leg.
Yeah.
But sometimes those things slide around a little bit, and
Got to adjust
you
him.
got to get the hinge put back in the right spot. And I think that's what the official's saying, that you can't take time to do that without using some of your injury time, or it'd be considered stalling. So. Okay, so it looks like okay, they're still on their feet. It's 7-1. Oaks from Monroe, he's up 2-1 or 2-0. Well, and we got some discussion going on mat 2. It's tied 4-4. 30 seconds left, and they're on their feet. So I don't know how that score happened. Somebody might have got a penalty point or a stalling point. But now we're tied up with 20 seconds left now. Ross takes a shot and gets stretched out. Does a good job getting back to his feet. He's not in a great spot with his head position, but okay, so they'll call that illegal. Yeah. In that situation, you can't have your hands locked through the arms and behind the wrestler with the wrestler's head underneath. It's an illegal move. It puts too much pressure on the neck.
On the neck,
and they'll stop that, similar to a full
Nelson. Yeah.
So that's unfortunate for Valley View to have that happen, but that's the rule. And Ross now is going to do what he can to survive these last 4 seconds. Actually, he's okay. Yeah, Ross was red. He wins, and Valley View is in a hurry to get off the mat, but coach does a good job of redirecting his athlete to have a
little bit of chicken.
Sportsman. Yeah, he's frustrated, I'm sure, with giving away the match on that illegal penalty point, but I give the coach a lot of credit for
being patient
and letting him know that it was the right call, and I'm sure we'll go in the back hallway and have some more conversation. Mat number 2 now is Hickson from Wyoming and Hupgren from Milton Union. Milton Union in on the takedown right off the whistle, right to his back. Hickson did a good job fighting off his back. He was in trouble there for a second. He's still in trouble. Holmgren elevates his head. He's going to get pinned here, I think.
Yeah, moving pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, now he's got the arm hooked, and we're going to go back, and there's still 20 seconds left, but give Wyoming credit. He
got out of it twice.
They was tight both times. So, and he's turned again. So we're going to have a 10-0 score in the first period based on 3 sets of near fall points, and we got 4-0 on mat number 1. Monroe is still in the lead. He's on top, and time is getting short. So on mat number 3, you can hear the London fans that are close to our booth. They're excited as Huff wins 10-2 over the previously unbeaten Ross wrestler. London wrestler moved very well for a heavyweight. Lots of leg attacks. Right now we have on mat number 3 Neves from Graham. He was the district champ at 220 last year. And he's wrestling Mendenhall from Wyoming. Over on mat 2, Milton Union secures the pin, which looked like it was a foregone conclusion after all the back points in the first period. So that played out the way we thought. Good sportsmanship between those two there. Mat number 2 is going to be a Clinton Massley wrestler. They might be still in the consolation round, I think. Yeah, 334. That's Wagers from Wyoming and Ballman from Massey. Wyoming with the W on their front, and Massey with red, white, and blue. And on mat 3, Wyoming is also with the W on their front, and Graham with their Saturday singlet. It's 0-0 with a minute left in the first period, so Mendenhall is holding his own so far early in this match. We're cleaning up something on mat number 1. The one trainer points to the intern. There it is. You got to clean it up. so it's good to be in charge sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah, it's your job.
Yep. Actually, she was a former Blanchester trainer for many years, Kelly Veit. She's now
Right.
working with Wilmington High School, so I'm sure you've seen her at football games.
Oh,
and
the
whatnot.
basketball, you name
Yep.
it. Kelly's been all over, and she's got a daughter that's an excellent softball player.
Yep. Yep. All right, with 6 seconds left, Neves from Graham, he scores a spin behind takedown. So it's only 2-0 after the first period. Mat number 2, it's tied up 0-0 going into the second. And we're finally done with mat number 1. Now on mat number 1 is New Richmond and Valley View. 3:33. That's Foster from New Richmond and Kenner from Valley View. And they're going to lock up. And once again, if you're on the mat 1, you're in the consolation round, so you have to win to advance. And if you're on the championship semifinals, if you win, you qualify for state and you wrestle for first this evening. If you lose in the championship semifinals, you'll fall down into the consolation bracket, and you'll still have one chance to place top 4. So we've talked about it before, the mental aspect of losing in the semis. You've got to get your head on straight to wrestle your best in the consolation round,
Right.
which will be coming up pretty quick. New Richmond's already got a warning for stalling on mat number 1. He backed out a little bit faster than the official wanted, so. All right. Neves from Graham is up 2-1 now. Mendenhall gets an escape in the second period. There's 45 seconds left. Still tied on mat 2, 0-0. All right. Now we're going to give a point to Graham on mat number 3 for stalling against Wyoming. And you can't give away points against anybody up
Not
here.
for stalling
And-
in particular.
And you can't definitely give
It's
away.
like losing a shoe.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give away a technical point for equipment or, points are too hard to earn up here to give them away. All right, and Graham gets a takedown now, so quickly from 2-1, it's 5-1, and time's going to run out in the second period. Now Burroughs from Massey has Wyoming on his back, gets 2 near fall points. So he's up 4-0. Start of the third period. And Wyoming has a choice on mat 2. He chooses down. But again, Massey's up 4-0. Looks like
Started too soon.
no. I think during the action, Wyoming went to hit a switch or turn into him somehow, and
Got a
I think
nosebleed.
as he was turning in, Massey's knee or some other body part was coming towards his face, and knee beats face. It's like rock, paper, scissors, right? All right, on mat number 1, Valley View is up 4-2. And I think he started on top this period and it's continued. He's out front, gives the clock a quick glance. There's 30 seconds left. Okay, over on mat 3. Start of the third period, Graham takes down. Wyoming's already given away a point for stalling, so he needs to be aware of that and not hang on that leg. You see the official pointing. That means he's still in control, and I'm curious to see why the official has one white shoe on and one black shoe. There's probably a story there somewhere.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Well, they wear red and a green band on their hand,
Yeah.
and now he's got a black and a white shoe on his feet. Probably not wise to speculate.
No. Although I feel like giving him a penalty point for not having the proper equipment.
That's right. Well, it could be
Because
that
he would
maybe-
do it to the wrestlers.
Maybe
I
his
guarantee
room,
that.
his room was dark when he slipped on his shoes. It's like having a brown sock and a blue sock, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. Massey is in complete control now on mat number 2. He's got an arm bar on his back and working to get control of the far wrist so he can run the bar. He decides to let that go, and he needs to be careful though. The officials are going to contemplate stalling here. Oh. He kind of baited Wyoming into standing up a little sloppily, and Massey with the cradle gets 2 quick back points. Wasn't very secure, but held him long enough to get the 2 points, and gets a little sloppy and reversed. Now Wyoming's on top. It's 6-2. 35 seconds left. Coach from Wyoming says let him go. I don't think they gave him an escape though, so this is going to be no change. So that's 15 seconds or so that did not change, and Massey does a great job of diving right back in on that leg, so there's still no change here. He's got to be careful though, because Wyoming's got a cradle locked up. Massey better give up on what he's trying to do and stop the cradle, because he's about to give up points, and he slips out of the grip, and there we go, 6-2. Clinton Massey stays alive. On mat number 3, I think we're into the heavyweight consolation round.
Another Massey wrestler there?
Yeah, that's going to be Schultz from Massey and Maxwell from Monroe. Schultz looks like he's up to a 2-point lead in the first period. Appears like the action on mat number 1 is finished. So they'll be starting the disinfecting process, and I think they said there'll have to be a few-minute break in between these matches and the Consolation semifinals.
Yeah, what we'll probably do, because if I recall earlier, it was about a 15-minute break. We will stay on the air. We will turn our audio off, but we will keep the video going so that anyone that's tuning in will see that we are still broadcasting, and then we will be back just as soon as wrestling resumes after they've disinfected the mats and things. Got a Wilmington heavyweight on mat 2 and a Western Brown.
These guys would have had to wrestle last at some point, being in the same division and same league tournament. That's Hicks from, or Brooks from Wilmington, and Wheel from Western Brown. Actually, there's 3 Southern Buckeye Athletic athletes out there right now. The 2 on mat 2 and Massey on mat 3. Monroe tries a throw, and Massey was ready for it, stopped it, caught him on his back, and gets the pin. So the only match going right now is the heavyweight consolation round match between Wilmington and Western Brown. Wilmington is currently up 4-3. A minute left in the second period. And Wilmington's going to be pretty content. Oh, he attacks the leg, gets it lifted up very nicely. Steps over and gets a takedown. That's a nice heavyweight takedown. Doesn't get underneath, stays on his feet, and gets a takedown and lets him go. 6-4. I would think Wilmington would continue with that type of strategy, staying on his feet, just snatching the single leg instead of getting underneath. So they're going to stand in the center, and Western Brown hasn't done a whole lot as far as attacking. I think he would rather be on the mat. I think Wilmington realizes that, so he would rather stay on his feet. So, I'm a fool. Wilmington chooses down to start the third period. Western Brown on top. And the assistant official says that they're not lined up properly, so they'll reset, start the period. Wilmington maintains his base. Western Brown's working on the ankle to break him down. Does break him down, but Wilmington gets back to his base. The official still says he's not doing enough to not get called, so he gives up a stalling warning, which he does not want to do that. He does not want to turn into the Western Brown wrestler. Western Brown stopped action for some reason, and Wilmington takes advantage, and Brooks pops up to his feet. So back on their feet. Wilmington in on a shot. Western Brown stops. All right, Western Brown still down by 3 now. 1 minute left, so if he's got an offensive attack, he needs to break it out before time gets too far away. Wilmington's got an underhook. Okay, gives that up. They're both pummeling, trying to establish position on the inside. Western Brown tries a throw, but slips. Goes to his belly, and Western Brown should just spin, or Wilmington should just spin behind him. But hooks his leg, gets behind, gets a takedown. Yep, they give it to him. 9-4 now. 25 seconds left. And I think if I was Wilmington, I'd probably let him go and do my win by 5 technique on my feet. And stay in the middle of the circle and move on to the next round, which looks like that's what's going to happen. So Brooks from Wilmington advances. Schultz from Massey advances. Will be 2 heavyweight placers from the Southern Buckeye League, or Conference, excuse me. And I believe we're going to take a 15-minute break, and then we'll come back for the Consolation semifinals. Gage Houston's on mat number 3 with a 2-point takedown. He is now up 2-0. 19 seconds left. He's still on top, working a cradle. He's got a cradle locked up now. He's gonna get some back points. Referees count them. Good job keeping your feet in, Gage.
This is what we're broadcasting. Pretty neat, huh? It's on television.
We've got 3 points for the near fall. 1 second left. That's a good first period for Gage. All right, they start neutral in the start of the second period on mat number 3. And Ross gets a takedown. Blanchester, a quick reversal. Locks the cradle back up. Has it locked up tight. He's going to take him back. He does not want to roll through. He needs to pop his hips. There you go. Hold it right there. Get 3 more back points. On 351, on mat 1, is Hank Williams from Bethel Tate and Brian from Wyoming. They are 3-0 in favor of Wyoming. Gage Houston is now up 10-2. He's going to kind of hang loose on top, enticing Ross to step up once more and get a cradle. Water, please. Thank you. Actually, if they got a Coke or a Diet Coke, that'd be better. Diet Coke. Diet Pepsi, fine. So 44 seconds left. And Gage has yet another cradle locked up. 3 more back points should come out of this. I tell you what, he's got those three cradles. If he gets his knee in the right spot, he can work the shoulder down and get a pin here. That would be outstanding, and that would qualify him for the state meet. So if it's over, then Blanchester folks can relax. But right now it's 13-2. 10 seconds left in the second period. He's kind of floating on top. Those guys who look for cradles will be kind of light on top, waiting for the guy to step up and make a mistake. On mat number 3, or mat number 1, it's still 3-0 in favor of Wyoming. And on mat number 2, we have, they don't have the bout up, but that's Highland and Goshen. I'm assuming that's going to be 170 pounds. Nope, I don't know who that is. Maybe 52 pounders. Again, if they put the numbers up. Well, that's Matthews from Highland and Woodward from Goshen. Thank you. On mat number 3, we have locking hands called against Ross. I'll give Mr. Houston 1 more point. And a reversal for Gage, and he locks up a cradle yet again. He's really firing those cradles up pretty good. Needs to be careful though, because he's works his way out of bounds. So we're 16-2 in the third period for Blanchester on mat 3. Goshen's up 6-2 or 6-1. Oh no, I apologize. That's Matthews. He's up 6-1 over Goshen. And on mat 3, Mr. Williams is down 3-2 now. So he's closed the gap. Start of the third period, he'll take down. And there's been a reversal on mat number 3. So Ross is up to 5 points now. It's still 16-5 in favor of Blanchester. A little biased. All right, so we got crowd wanting 2 points, and we get 2 points for Brian on mat 1. It's 5-3, minute 28 left. think they're addressing some blood time, maybe. Yeah, looks like Houston has a scratch or something on his shoulder. The trainer's gonna put some chemical on there to try to stop the bleeding and let him finish this 40 seconds or so. On mat 1, it's 7-0 or 7-1. Highland's up. We got a reversal now by Goshen, so he's down by 4 with 20 seconds left. He will need some type of big time throw from his feet, and Highland's going to do the smart thing and drop right down to the leg and hang on for 10 seconds and advance. So if you got that lead, you don't want to go running at somebody and give them a chance to throw you.
Stick you on your back.
Stick you on your back. And that's probably what Ross is going to attempt here. He chooses neutral at the restart with 30 seconds left. He's going to try to do a throw on Blanchester. Blanchester again wrestling smart, dropping down to a single leg. He needs to put forth a little effort here to finish without putting himself in danger. 15 seconds. 17-5 is the score. Ross probably going to get 2 here, but it's going to be too little too late. We don't. Okay. So they're out of bounds. We have 2 seconds, and at this point, Gage Houston can run straight backwards and not give up to any points. So, and
That's essentially what he did.
There we go. Yeah, that's what he did, and he gives a little golf clap, but he should be more excited than that because he's a state qualifier. He'll be wrestling for 3rd place later on this evening. On mat number 2 is match 355. 355 is Greenhouse from Graham and Starks from Baden. Greenhouse from Graham with a quick takedown, 16 seconds into the period. On mat 1, it's 7-5, Brian, and these two guys are going back and forth. On mat number 3 now is another Blanchester wrestler. That's Colt Conover. Colt made the semifinals and dropped down to the Conso semis, and he's wrestling Taylor from Highland. No, I'm sorry, it's not Highland. From Hebron Lakewood, I apologize. He's wrestling a guy from Hebron Lakewood, and Colt spins behind for the 2-point takedown on the edge. 20 seconds left in the first period, and he's up. Blanchester's opponent there on mat number 3 was in the consolation round last round, and he had a very tight match and actually scored towards the end of the match to take the victory. So he's been physically put to the test just a few minutes ago, seems like. I'm sure he's probably thinking the same. 2-0 after the first period. It's 2-0 on mat 2, and 9-5 now in favor of Wyoming on mat number 1. 5 seconds left. They go out of bounds. Bethel Tate's trying a head and arm, but that's not going to work. Looks like Conover takes down to start the second period. On mat 2, Graham has a tilt. He's going to get 2 back points. Colt needs to continue working in the down position. He doesn't want to relax and let Taylor from Lakewood get comfortable and find a pinning combination. So movement's key. On mat number 1, we have another Graham wrestler coming up. So it looks like Colt's going to pop out the back there, almost with the escape. Rolls through. Was lucky to roll through that near side cradle attempt. He needs to keep moving though on the bottom. He's down, or he's up 2-0, but A 3-1 lead, a 3-0 lead would be very helpful going into the third period. He's going to try an arm roll here. He's got an arm roll, and that kid's pinned. If the official's in position, that was a defensive pin there. Official just a little slow getting down. So we're still 37 seconds in the second period left. On mat number 2, looks like we're going to do blood time again. And on mat number 1, match 354, is Gramblet from Graham and Wickline from Bloom Carroll. Bloom Carroll in the blue and purple and yellow. And on mat 3, Colt's got to roll through. He's put him on his back. It's 4-0 Conover from Blanchester. He's in a pinning situation. Oh, man.
3 more points.
3 more back points. So he's 7-0. He needs to be smart here on top and maintain. They finish the period on top. Finish the period on top. There we go. All right. All right. So he's worked his way into an 8-0 lead. It's Taylor. It's Taylor from Lakewood's choice, and he's going to choose down. I'll put Blanchester on top. It's an 8-0 lead. This is a situation where you're going to want to give away one escape point versus a reversal because you can afford it. But he's got an armbar in. He's working, kind of working it backwards there. Now step in front of the leg and take him down. There we go. Reset. Okay. Taylor from Lakewood is doing a good job with hand control. He's got good hand control. He's going to try to do a head and arm, which he's got. It's another thing he's got to be careful of. You don't want to leave his head hanging, given the cheap reversal and back points. That's one of the only things that's going to beat Blanchester right now. He's got a Metzger set up, but he didn't have it quite right. We got blood time now. I think Taylor from Lakewood. All right, they'll give him the 2 though for the reversal, which I think is just fine in Blanchester's corner. Nothing wrong with being in a down position, up by 6. On mat number 2, Graham is extended to a 7-0 lead over Hamilton Baden. And Graham is winning 6-3 on mat number 1 over Bloom Carroll. So it looks like Taylor from Hebron Lakewood has some blood work done on maybe his lip, his chin, somewhere in that area. And the other trainers are working on Conover, getting some of that stuff taken off of his body. 8-4 now on mat 1 for Graham, and it's ballooned up to 12-2 now on mat number 2 for Graham. Starting the third period on mat 2, and just started the third period on mat 1. And there's 1:12 left on mat 3. Taylor from Lakewood lets Conover up, go neutral. He's going to be looking for a throw. Conover does a nice job with a double leg. Not really a extremely violent attack, but he dropped down and grabbed the legs, which was going to keep you from getting thrown. So now he needs to keep his elbows in and work out from there and not let the guy lock anything up, because he's going to be trying to set up a cement mixer or some type of, he had the headlock there with a little too much pressure on the neck, so they'll give a penalty point to Conover for an illegal headlock versus Taylor from Lakewood. And Colt's going to do everything he can now to stay out of the big moves and stay off his back. But like we've said all along, you want to keep wrestling. You don't want to get too complacent because that's when bad things happen. And that was good attempt by Taylor for the throw, but Colt does a good job rolling through. That's Blanchester rolls through. He gets the takedown, and he is a state qualifier. He'll be wrestling for third place later on. And nice job, Mr. Conover. And that is his dad congratulating him on the edge of the mat. Dad was a state qualifier back in the day for Blanchester, and now Colt gets to be up on the wall of fame in the hallway next to his dad, maybe. On mat number 2, we have Graham with the 18-2 win. On mat number 1, Graham is up 10-5. And that match is over, so Graham advances there. On mat number 3, 358, is Hess from Ross and Davidson from Taylor. Taylor with the yellow jacket on their back. Mat number 2, it's going to be Hancock from Wyoming and Harger from Northwestern. And on mat number 1, another Graham wrestler. Let's see who they are. Burrows from Graham and Holtgren from Milton Union. And if I'm not mistaken, they're in the same, I think they're in the same conference, but I might be wrong there. But Burrows with a quick snap and spin for 2. And he'll let him go. Work on takedowns. Milton Union works his way back to the leg.
On deck on mat 2, Keith Kidder, Valley View. Antonio Burns, London, mat 2.
Okay, Davidson from Taylor is up 5-0 on mat 3. We're tied up 0-0 starting the second period on mat 2. And then 2-1 on mat 1. This round's going to go pretty quick, and then we'll take a break before the placement matches. Ross has scored 3 points in this period to make it 5-3. He's got to be careful. They're both in a position to end up on their back. Ross is going to stay higher. Once again, in a scramble, if your chest and head's higher, you have good things happen, and good things are happening for Ross right now, getting near fall. Taylor would be advised to work himself out of bounds the best he can. And that would do it, rolling out of bounds.
He listened.
Well, I would imagine the coaches were saying the same thing.
Probably the same thing, yelling on the sidelines.
Oh, we got a penalty point for something illegal. It's 8-5 now for Ross.
Tonight's action being brought to you by our sole sponsor for this event. And Sam's Meats in Wilmington, Ohio. I think you've got about another hour before they close tonight. So if you want to grab you a sandwich or get you some good food, head over to Sam's Meats. Listen to Campus Nation while you're on the way over.
Don't think Taylor agrees with the penalty point, but the spare official on the side is attempting to explain things. But so 8-5, now 8-6. 20 seconds left in the second period. If Ross gets a leg put in here, he's going to get a takedown, but Taylor wisely rolls out of bounds. It's 6-2 on mat number 1. Graham in control. It's 1-0 on mat number 2. Hancock from Wyoming is currently up. Minute 48 left in the match. But Hancock is on top, so always a dangerous position to be in, only up by 1 and being on top. All right, Taylor gets another escape at the third period, so we're now up 8-7. And I'm not sure I don't know how they're calling Northwestern for stalling there. He was on bottom working an escape, and they go out of bounds and he gets hit for stalling.
Very strange, huh?
Yeah. What that does is give Wyoming the option to let him go when the time is right and still maintain that 1-point lead. We're up back to Ross on mat 3. He's up 8-7 now. And Taylor is working. Taylor gets called for stalling, for backing up. And then I believe that indication means Taylor said something inappropriate as they return to the center of the mat. And the official will have none of that, which he shouldn't. And they award a penalty point to the Ross wrestler for unsportsmanlike conduct. And I hate to see that. When they have something go against them, you got to keep your cool, get back to the middle, and wrestle. So now he's down by 2 instead of 1.
And when you're that close, it makes absolutely no sense to put, sort of like a technical foul in basketball. It just changes the complexion of the game.
Yeah, so he earns his 2 points now, but now it's tied instead of being up for the win. So he's in a minute left, and now he has to stay on top and in control or he loses. I just don't And I get it, the emotions are high, and this is the go-to-state match, but all right, so Taylor's on top. He's working to stay in control. Ross backs out. He's on the edge, so they'll start over. Ross is down, 36 seconds left. On mat number 2, Northwestern earns a 2-point takedown right on the edge. There's 37 seconds left. And Taylor went for something a little
risky,
more than it should, a little risky, and Ross defends it, puts him on his back, and gets the pin. So we have a 16-9 lead on mat 1 by Graham. On mat number 2, Wyoming is now down 3-2, 37 seconds left. So we'll be in the, you got to escape to tie it. And he pops right up. Springfield Northwestern is stalling. So they'll call it stalling and give him a point, and then he gets an escape. So now Wyoming's up 4-3. I'm not sure Northwestern is aware of that because he is And now I think the coaches have made him aware, and he is down by a point. He's down, got 12 seconds left, and
Doesn't appear to be too anxious.
No, he doesn't. And I guarantee Wyoming's not going to attack because he doesn't need to. He got one stalling to give away, and
That's it. Now he's
See?
questioning.
Yeah, so he wasn't aware of the match situation. That's unfortunate, and I know the coaches were imploring him and telling him that that's what the situation was.
Raises his hands like, what happened?
Yeah, he did not know he gave up that stalling call, and that's too bad. All right, I'm at number 3, match 395 or 359. We have, I don't know where I'm on the wrong page. Oaks from Monroe and Emmons from Baden. I was checking out Division 1 because my nephew wrestles in Division 1, and I was wondering why there weren't people on the line yet. So yeah, it's Oaks from Monroe and Emmons from Baden, and they are 2-1 in Baden's favor. And starting the second period, Monroe takes it down. We have another Clinton Massey wrestler on mat number 1, another SBAAC contest. Western Brown, I think that's Powell from Western Brown, and let me double check, 362. Yeah, that's Ballman from Clinton Massey and Powell from Western Brown. Those two, once again, from the same conference, so I would imagine they have wrestled at least once. On mat number 2 is Burns from London, and he hits a nice fireman carry right to the guy's back. He's wrestling Valley View.
And there he goes.
1 second left in the period, and he gets the pin. Whew. And our London neighbors,
are delighted.
They're very happy. So that gives them a heavyweight, a 220, and their 60-pounder have all qualified. So they got a lot to celebrate. All right, Western Brown is now up 2-0 on Clinton Massey on mat number 1. And he is working an arm lock. He's going to try to lace through and grab that far wrist, and now he's going to hook the neck and work a half. Man, he's got to clear his legs and drop his chest. And this is going to be tight if he can get it. Oh, he slipped out of it. That was a tight move. We used to call that the Shelby move. And
The Shelby. Was that named after a wrestler?
That was named after the high school that used to run it all the time.
Okay, Shelby High School.
What my high school coach told us, and I'm not sure if he was telling the truth or not.
You got to believe everything your coach tells you.
Absolutely. It turns out years later we find out a lot of that stuff was
just a Mustang,
just a Dumbo feather, and
sounded good.
That was a move though. We did run that in high school, and we used to try to run it when I coached. But all right, we got Emmons. He is pinning Oaks. Yeah, he caught him in a position. We put both legs in and elevated his head. So that's all she wrote there. On mat number 2 was a Wilmington wrestler. That's Brooks from Wilmington and Mendenhall from Wyoming. So on mat number 1, Western Brown coaches are trying to get some explanation on something. All right, now on mat number 3 is Peacock from Roths and Schultz from Massey, and they wrestled last week at sectionals. And Peacock was the victor there. And they met in the finals last week in the sectionals, but we're still 2-1 in favor of Western Brown on mat number 1. He's trying to dig out that wrist again, but Massey's doing a good job keeping his hips up. And 0-0 on mat 2. And it looks like Wilmington started the period down, so Wyoming needs to break him back down or let him go, or he'll be called for stalling. Wilmington fights to defend a takedown situation here. And kicks the leg out, and he gets his point for escape. And they saunter back to the middle.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like
Saunter.
a gentleman's agreement to get back in the middle and start over, huh? Mendenhall wrestled 220 last year, and I thought he looked a little undersized last year at 220, but he's grown several inches taller and
Put on some more muscle.
And I would imagine the football team at Wyoming enjoys having him on their team.
All right.
So on mat number 3, we have a 0-0 match into the second period. Peacock is down and Schultz is on top. Schultz from Massey, Peacock from Ross. Mat number 1, we have stalling by Western Brown, and he was stalling. He had that back ankle hooked and wasn't improving much. But he is in a 15 seconds. He needs to hold on to advance to third and a chance to, or not a chance, but he will be a state qualifier. So Massey needs to pop his head out and break his grip. I don't think it's enough time. Nope. Western Brown's going to hang on, and he will wrestle for third and earn a trip to Highland High School next week. Marengo, Ohio, Highland High School. Again, that'll be 2 hours away from here, so if you're from the northern side of this district, it's probably closer to you than we are. Of course, the Rosses and Wyomings of this tournament will have a little farther to drive, but I don't think they'll mind. Okay, and now we have Peacock. He worked his way into position. He's up 3-0. And he has Schultz from Massey on the edge and on his back. And if the official's in position, it's probably a pin. Some of those guys are probably as tired as we are.
Hard to believe that.
I know, but yeah, they're moving around quite a bit more than we are. But overall, I think they've done a great job this weekend, and I haven't seen too many craziness. I still wouldn't mind talking to them about the 45-pounder from Blanchester and what happened.
You know, it was interesting. I was talking to the one young intern that we were talking, you called having to clean up the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to her, went down to get some pizza. This was earlier break in the first session. And she said, well, I wasn't here, but I heard someone punch someone.
That's the call. That's the flagrant misconduct is typically for a punch. And I will argue with any of them that it was not a punch. I don't know if it was a...
Well, we were talking about the blood and all that, but she said, yeah, she says, I wasn't actually here, but I heard that.
Yeah.
I said, well, I thought that it was an accidental kick.
Yeah. And, looking at the film, I've seen that his hand touched his face, but it was not he did not swing or make a fist in any fashion. But once the refs call it, that's what you got to live with. And
well, the bad part about it was he was canceled from the rest
Yep.
of the tournament.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he didn't
he
didn't get a chance to make it up and wrestle back, which really stinks for a senior.
Yep.
All right, Peacock from Ross gets 2 more points for a takedown on mat number 3, and he's going to move on, I would imagine. There's only 1 minute left. We have a 1-1 tie on mat number 2, and they're in overtime. So 20 more seconds. They need to get a takedown, or we'll start the process of up and down.
We've seen that.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times now. And these 2 wrestlers are this equally matched. It's going to happen. All right, so they will flip a disc. Flip a disc. And the choice goes to Wyoming. So Wyoming chooses down right off the bat. And once again, they have 30 seconds here. They'll have to continue wrestling, whether a point scored or not. A lot of times they score a point and they'll stop, and that's not the intention here. They have 30 seconds to score as many points as they can. And then Wilmington will have the same opportunity for his 30 seconds. And so right now it's still, they're calling stalling on Wilmington, which I have no idea why in the world it would be. He is making an effort to take him down. So he returns him to the mat, 6 seconds left. He's got 2 seconds left and brings him back down to the mat.
He's hurt.
Okay, no, I think he's disappointed. I don't know if they quite understand the rule. So now it's 30 seconds for Wilmington. He chooses down, but he's got to be aware that he's been warned for stalling. He doesn't want to get called again.
Now, are we at the point where he has to
nope,
score?
not yet.
Not yet. That's the ultimate.
That's what happens next. So if nobody scores here, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What did they do?
Okay, so they caution the Wyoming wrestler for mounting or setting himself up improperly. And it must have been his second or third time, because they gave a point. If you don't line up right for so many times, you get penalized a point. So he has been penalized a point for improperly lining up. So Wilmington right now is winning. He's winning 2-1. He is now winning 3-1. And they got to continue wrestling. Wyoming takes a ill-advised shot, is extended. Oh no! So he'll get 2 points there for.
So we're tied up.
Yeah, we're tied up. All right, so referees are going to say that that's it. Now we have the ultimate tiebreaker situation once again. So it is Wilmington gets the choice.
They're taking down.
He scored first in the match,
But he has to break free.
He has to break free now. So if he does not break free and earn an escape or a reversal, then Wyoming wins. And these 2 large gentlemen are very tired. Wilmington's up on his feet.
Trying to break away.
And he did.
He does,
He's
it.
got away, and he is going to move on and wrestle for third.
Tough way to lose.
Tough
once
way to
again.
lose, and I think it's not quite sunk in yet for Wilmington. He's going to realize what happened here in a few minutes and be extremely excited. The hometown Brooks from Wilmington, he'll move on to wrestle for third versus Ross. They wrestled last week.
So we got a 15-minute break coming up as soon as they can get the mats sanitized. I guess they'll sanitize them, and then we'll go into the championship round.
Yeah.
Just seems like we started a few minutes ago.
What time is it?
The time is 5:54. So that's about right. All right, we're going to cut the audio. We'll leave the video up. We will be back just as soon as action resumes. You're listening to campusnation.com, your internet sports authority, and brought to you tonight by Sam's Meats, our sponsor here for all this action these last 3 days. right, we are back. Getting ready to finish this out. Talk with Troy Deals, the athletic director here at Wilmington. I says, Troy, it looked like your eyes were glazing over there. He says, yeah. He says, it's been a long tournament. But he's taking care of us, so we are we're going to hang in to the end, whatever time that is. You said 7:15?
Yep.
Okay, all right. He's our official timekeeper. So now, this morning's finals, we had the final actual championship on mat number. They've changed the numbers again. So for first place, it will be the two bottom. If you look on your monitor, the two bottom mats are the championship match. And then if you look on the upper left-hand corner, that is for third place. And then upper right-hand corner, that will be for fifth place. So there will be 6 positions awarded. And the top 4, 1 through 4, will go on to state.
All right. Starting us off on the championship mat is Terry from Granville. He was the district champ last year at 152 pounds. And he'll be wrestling Braun from Graham Local, and he took second last year at 152 pounds.
And he is ranked currently, from apparently Flow Sports, he's ranked number 2 in the country.
On mat number 3 is Brian from Wyoming and Matthews from Highland. Wyoming with a W on their chest and a blue stripe. Highland, red, white, and blue. On mat number 5 is Williams from Bethel Tate and Woodward from Goshen. Another SAAC conference matchup. No score so far. Highland has a single leg takedown attempted, but Brian defends it nicely on mat number 3 for third place. And we'll get no score there, and 2, calls him out of bounds, which most of them were out of bounds. On mat number 1, Graham is in their Saturday singlet, black with a white top, and Granville is blue with a white top, and gray markings on their legs. No score after the first period on mat 1 or 3.
Yeah, we got to get reacclimated to the mats. Did you ever find out why the one official had a white shoe on in the match?
Nope. I didn't get down on the floor.
Oh, pin.
Matthews from Highland with a pin early in the first or second period. Terry from Granville has both legs controlled. And now the official gives 2 for the takedown. 12 seconds left in the first period. They go out of bounds. Terry on top after the restart. Elevates, returns to the mat. They go out of bounds and almost in the training supplies. One green escape on mat number 5 in 5th place. So that puts Woodward up 1-0. 50 seconds left in the second period. Graham's choice. He chooses down to start the second period. Terry from Granville elects to let him up, so Braun gets 1 point for the escape, and they go neutral. It looks like there was a pin on mat 5 for 5th place, but so Goshen wins the pin. He'll take 5th. Granville went on the high crotch. He turns it off, switches off to a double. Graham rolls through, trying to defend the double. Terry changes up, good head position there. Cracks him down, 2-point takedown. That's some good chain wrestling by both guys. That was about the third option there Terry used to score. If there's any younger guys watching or youth coaches watching, that's what you have to do to score points up here. You cannot hit one move at a time. It just doesn't work. Terry needs to change sides here off and on a little bit to show the ref that he's attempting to improve his position. And just as I say that, the ref says he agrees. Terry's stalling. You can't just hang on one side or right behind him. You got to come out to the side and try to work to improve. So 4-1 now still. I'd expect, well, I don't know, with only 25 seconds left. 4-2. $15 seconds left. It's going to be Terry from Granville's choice in the third period. Braun had a choice in the second period. Douglas Terry will take down. And Braun elects to go neutral, so Terry gets 1 point. Up 5-2. Graham working on the head and neck area. Trying to snap him down and get him out of position. Terry's maintaining his stance through that head pressure. Doing a good job circling, staying mostly on the mat. He has an underhook now. Right hand underhook. Goes into a double leg. Graham's going to be safe out of bounds and we'll start over. $1:16 left in the third period. Douglas Terry from Granville is up. Braun from Graham had a single leg attempt and no avail. Goes into a high crotch. Defended well by Granville. Now the officials want to put their 2 cents in. They'll call stalling on Granville. Granville's coach is going to ask for a little explanation there because he's the coach and that's what they'll do. I don't blame him though. Granville's been as equal and as aggressor as Graham by all accounts from my point of view, but I don't have the gray striped shirt and the whistle, so Terry in once again on a shot. That's at least 3 tacks to 0. So.
But you do have a microphone.
I do have a microphone, and I'm way up here, and they're way down there.
That's
so
right.
I can say whatever I want, really. But once again, Terry gets a takedown at 7-3, an escape 7-4. He's doing a good job circling in. Graham's doing a lot of work trying to get Terry to go to the edge. Ill-advised had an arm attempt there. That just basically gave a 2-point takedown to Terry. Terry lets him go. It's 9-5. 12 seconds left. Braun from Graham snaps him down, and Terry follows through with it and attacks the leg and hangs on and going to win 9-5. Repeats as a district champ. Braun repeats as a district runner-up. And the 152s are completed. So they'll take a moment to line them up for a photo op for mom and dad, and the 160s will be next.
Introducing your place winners, the 152-pound weight class. In 6th place, Hank Williams from Bethel. 5th place, John Woodard, Goshen. 4th place, Nathan Bryant from Wyoming. 3rd place, Cody Matthews from Highland. 2nd
It's
place, Trace Braun from
a
Graham.
little ironic they have them socially distant in their lineup for their awards.
Yet
They just spent 2 days rolling around on the mat with each other.
right. Yeah, right. None of this makes sense, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I think the distance is to try to reduce the amount of time they're together. It just looks a little funny. All right, starting out on mat number 3 for 3rd place is Gage Houston from Blanchester, and he's wrestling Cramblett from Graham. And Cramblett is a quick takedown in the first 10 seconds of the match. Houston attempting a reversal there. Attacks the upper hand. I think maybe we had a forfeit on the championship match.
It looks like it because there's no one out there on the mat.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know who forfeited to who. I know Burns was in the finals at 160 from London. He had that knee brace, so maybe he's opted to take second versus chance of re-injuring it and stay healthier for next week. I think
Well, there's a London wrestler right there.
might be the case, and that's Burns. That's him. So
And then we have a Massey,
no, that's the Dotson from Licking Valley.
Licking Valley. Okay.
So they're probably letting the table know what Burns is clearly not going to wrestle. He's wearing his house slippers at the moment.
Oh, you can't wrestle in house slippers?
No, that's one of them technical violations, I would think. So, yeah, I think he probably opted to not risk injury or re-aggravating something.
Well, it would be nice to be potentially a district champion, but at the same time, you want to keep yourself healthy for state because that's the prize.
Yeah, and he's a junior, so he'll have another chance for a district title. And
Yeah, and he's gonna be going to state. So
Yeah.
there you go.
yeah. And there is some seeding with the first versus 4 and 2 versus 3 at the state level, but at the end of the day, they're all state qualifiers. So
Right, they're all good wrestlers.
the distinction and the differentiation is not as apparent as at the sectional or district level. Mat number 1, we have Ross and maybe Buckeye Valley. Give me a second, I'll check that. 91. So for 5th place, yeah, that's Boyle from Ross and Wickline from Bloom Carroll. I'm sorry, it's Bloom Carroll in the purple and yellow. Ross is up, I believe, 2-0. I think we had some, looks like there's some blood work being done on mat number 3. And Blanchester, Houston from Blanchester had a little issue in the shoulder last match. And he's got some tape keeping that scratch under control. He had a good chain wrestling there of a couple reversal attempts, and he's in a position where if he squares up, he could maybe back away and get an escape, and there it is. 12-4. He's got an underhook. Oh, nice foot sweep by Graham. Really caught Blanchester off guard there and knocks him off his balance and gives up the takedown. Again, a good example of chain wrestling. One attempt didn't work, second attempt didn't work, and the foot sweep scored the points. We're still 2-0 on mat number 5 for 5th place. And Bloom Carroll, Wickline from Bloom Carroll is down, I believe. Minute 18 left. He is trying to work in a spladle, which he has the leg hooked on, but he's got his leg hooked and he's got his hands hooked for the leg. And he needs to scoot a few more times, and there's the spladle, but he's on the wrong end of it here. He's rolled it through too far. Now Ross has popped out. I'm sorry, Ross was red, so he was down 2-0, and now he's got a reversal. He's got Bloom Carroll on his back, so there's the count. They're going to get 3 back points, so now it's going to be Ross up 5-2. He is wearing the red ankle band. And Ross's coach is yelling for him to stay there, which means don't do anything. Don't change your position. You're winning 5-2. You know, that's hard for wrestlers sometimes because all year they've been taught to go for the pin, go for the pin, go for the pin.
Right.
And at this level, you get your points, you hang out and watch those 9 seconds tick off and be a 5th place finisher. So Ross is in control and Wickline submits, and we have a 5-2 winner for 5th place. On mat number 3, excuse me, Cramblett from Graham is working on technique, takedowns. It's now 22-9. Houston hasn't found an offensive solution He's usually attacking, and Graham has taken that option away. So that's a technical fall victory for Graham. Both those gentlemen will go to the state tournament next week, so their season continues. And I would assume, I don't think we've ever gotten an official confirmation yet, but yep, Dotson wins by default, so Burns was the one who defaulted, which we thought. And they'll line up the finishers here once the 5th place guys make their way over. And the official photographer is on the side there, taking pictures for the district webpage, the newspapers.
5th place, Ethan Doyle, Ross. 4th place, Gage Houston, Lancaster.
Give Gage applause from my crow's nest up here. Look forward to seeing him on Monday and congratulate him in person.
Your champion at 160-pound weight class, Dylan Dawson, Licking Valley. Your match is for the 170-pound
Dotson looks like he's dressed and ready to
He's ready to head
get on
out.
the bus. Yeah.
going for 5th. Robert Taylor,
All right, 170 pounds.
going for 3rd.
In 5th place, Starks from Baden will be wrestling Taylor from, I think that's Lakewood. Yeah, Hebron Lakewood. In 3rd place will be Greenhouse from Graham, wrestling Conover from Blanchester. Another Graham-Blanchester matchup. And then on mat number 1 for the championship will be Frederick from Chaminade Julian and Newsom from Hartley. Newsom is 42-0, and Frederick is 23-0. So
Battle of the unbeaten.
the unbeaten, somebody's going to experience their first defeat on the season. On mat number 3, Blanchester walked into a throw. And that match is over quickly. Greenhouse with the pin. Conover comes to his feet with a grin on his face. He is a quality young man. He's always got a smile on his face, and he's gonna be a state qualifier, 3rd place or 4th place. It's not gonna matter much.
Right.
So. All right, so it's 4-1 on mat number 1. Newsom has the lead. Newsom's wearing the gray with the blue eagle or something on the side. And Frederick from Chaminade Julian is wearing gray and blue this round. And he earns his escape now. It's 4-2. Newsom's a sophomore. I'm going to see him for a few more years. Another takedown for Newsom. It's now 6-2. No score for 5th place yet. Starks from Baden is 0-0 with Taylor from Hebron Lakewood. Taylor must have started the second period in the down position. She's still down, and the score is 0-0.
Guess we got a little discussion going on down on mat 1.
Still 0-0 on fifth place match. 33 seconds left in the period. Stark's doing a good job keeping Taylor broken down. Taylor now works to the feet, but Starks drops to a single to return him to the mat. 18 seconds now. It's now 7-2 on mat number 1. Newsom is in control. Make that 9-2. The score is getting to be somewhat surprising. Frederick placed fourth at 170 last year, and Newsom took second at 160 at the district tournament. So 2 state qualifiers wrestling there on mat number 1. On mat number 5, it's 1 point. I don't know why Taylor earned a point, but he's up 1-0. That's a nice double leg takedown right on the edge for Newsom on mat 1. Popped his head out to the side. Kept his hips underneath him and covers up for 2. So it's 2-1 now on mat number 5. The fifth place match. Green is up. Starks is up 2-1. And now it is 3-2 because Taylor from Hebron Lakewood earns the takedown. 59 seconds left. And they're going to let Taylor from Lakewood adjust his headgear. Referee gives it on his time. Newsom with another takedown now. It's 13-4. Frederick looks match 5, fifth place. They stop it for potentially dangerous. Newsom lets Frederick go. The start of the third period, so it's 13-5. Newsom has been the offensive aggressor, and as I say that, Frederick makes his first offensive attempt and had a good single set up, but Newsom does not stop moving, rolls through, pops out the back, comes out on top. Again, a good example of chain wrestling. Defended the offensive shot. Frederick walks back to the circle, shaking his head in disbelief because he was in on a single leg that I'm sure he finished against most everybody else he wrestled this year, and Newsom scored off of his good shot. So he is trying to figure out some way to score points, and his best attempt so far has been defended and used against him. 15-5 now. Newsom's going to bring him back to the mat. And Frederick still has his hips up in good position, but he is out of bounds. They'll start back in the center. Got a little limp to his gait as he goes back to the center. Up to his feet quick if he works on the hands. Yep, got the hand control, so Newsom concedes and gives the escape. 15-6. Stark from Baden is kicking frantically to escape. He has worked away from Taylor from Wickline, but we have the assistant official indicating a locking hands. The Hebron Lakewood coach is already at the table. Gonna want some explanation there. The assistant calls locking hands. The head official goes to the table for discussion. If that's the case, it's going to be 4-3 in favor of Baden with 3 seconds left. So the head official now is discussing with the assistant, wanting to make absolute sure
That's what he saw.
that's what he saw, and maybe it wasn't something else. I think now he's going to tell the Baden coach that it maybe wasn't locking hands. I'm not sure why he would talk to Baden, but so they're working to get this right. Newsom wins by at least a major on mat number 1. He'll be a returning district champ, or 2-time district champ, I should say. So Hamilton Baden's coach is pleading his case, as you would expect. And the official is going to confirm once again with the assistant and ask him if he double checked.
Double checked, eh?
Double checked, and it appears that it was not locking hands, so it's still 3-3. 3 seconds left. And
We're going to have an overtime, maybe.
looks like an overtime. Yep. And we'll put 1 minute on, and I'm glad the officials got together there, because I'd
Got that sorted out.
I'd rather see a takedown here to determine the win versus a iffy locking hands call. So
Right.
they'll have 1 minute now to earn it. Both wrestlers in the center of the mat. 50 seconds. After 2 long days of wrestling, this extra time isn't fun. Way back in the day, they used to wrestle the 6 minutes, and overtime was 3-minute match. They would do a 1 minute, a 1 minute, and 1 minute. So
Wow.
you could wrestle 9 minutes total, and as somebody that lost their final district match in that situation, 9 minutes of overtime is terrible. All right, we Taylor into takedown there is halfway through the overtime period. So Taylor finishes 5th, Stark 6th, Conover 4th, Greenhouse 3rd, Frederick 2nd, Newsom 1st. And they'll line up on the side and smile for the camera.
And as usual, all the action tonight, as well as last night, the night before that, brought to you by Sam's Meats, right here in Wilmington, Ohio. You're listening to CampusNation.com, the Internet Sports Authority. And just counting down the last, probably last three weights. So that would be 195, 220.
Oh, sorry, 4 weights. We got 82s yet.
Yeah, 82, 95, 220, and 285.
Introducing your 2022
Let's see. Are we going to make the 7:15 cut?
Yeah, piece of cake.
Piece of cake. All right, we got a half an hour.
In sixth place, Katie Starr.
Well, so that's 24 minutes, right?
In fifth place,
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, and then all the shenanigans in between. So
Yeah.
that might push me over
Well,
the
these
7:15.
guys like these shenanigans. They get their medals.
Well, yeah, and they deserve it.
Right.
Mom and Dad will take the picture and immediately share it to Facebook.
Oh, of course. It'll be all over the
And
internet.
the Twitterverse and the Snapchat and
Instagram.
and all the other social media outlets.
What did we do when we were young?
We had to call
Polaroid.
our in-laws and let them know how we did, or wait till the next family event to.
Yeah,
Tell 'em how
didn't
we
even
did.
have the internet, did
No,
they?
no.
95. That's
Yeah.
when, Al Gore invented it?
Yeah. Way back when I wrestled, we had to look up information on people we were going to wrestle in the newspaper.
Wow.
And there was a gentleman from up Cleveland area, Brian Brakeman, that would do a breakdown of all the best wrestlers, and he'd put it out and publish
Sort
it.
of like a Bombs page, only in print?
It was in print, and you kind of had to have a connection to get a copy of it. And, first person to have a copy of it in the room would get attacked by everybody else because they want to
Guess.
see where they were. But now you sit on a computer, and a couple clicks, you can find out everything.
Right.
All right, on mat number 1, 182 pounds, Nevis from Graham versus Doyle from Massey. And Nevis is already up 2-0, and will get at least 2 back points to increase his lead to 4-0. We have a Wyoming wrestler on mat number 3. That's Hancock from Wyoming wrestling Hess from Ross. And we have a pin on match for 5th place. Hager from Northwestern, yeah. He pins Davison from Taylor. That was a quick finish there. So now on mat 1, there's first place. Doyle's down 4-0, and on mat 3, Hancock from Wyoming ends the first period 2-0. Doyle doing a good job working up to his feet, but Nevis from Graham doing a good job rolling him back to the mat, scoring with his legs. Has Doyle in trouble once again. Going to get three at some point in this series. So now, 2, okay. So it's 6-4 or 6-0. Hancock with another takedown. So with the escape and the takedown, it's 5-0. Wyoming over Ross on mat number 3. They start neutral at the beginning of the second period on mat number 1. And they penalize Clinton Massey for hands to the face. And Nevis just spins and earns the takedown and exposes the back of Doyle. We got 2 individual counts, so no back points awarded there. 9-0. Hancock finishes the second period 5-0. And red gets a choice. Coach Dunn from Ross tells him to take neutral. So they start neutral. And 2 more takedown points for Nevins from Graham. And now he's got a bar and a wrist. This will be back points and possibly a fall. Yeah, there we go. SBAAC wrestler Clinton Massey, Colton Doyle finishes second. Graham will take the championship, and both those young men will wrestle again next week.
So in their state finals, there would be 16 wrestlers that will compete against each other.
Yep.
To whittle it down to a state champion.
Yep.
We've got 4 coming from this district, and there's 3 other districts in Ohio that they filter in from.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a district from Norwalk, a district from Gallia Academy, and a district from Perry. And those top 4 will be matched up. Champion from here versus 4 from one of the other districts, and 2 versus 3, and so on. So in the situation that just happened on mat number 1, Graham will be the champion, obviously, the district, but the Massey wrestler will be on the opposite side of the bracket because of coming from the same district. So
Right. So they don't
1
have,
versus 2 will be on away from each
Right.
other at the state
so
level.
you're not bringing everyone from the same district at each other at
Right,
the beginning.
Right. Yeah, so
makes sense.
if Massey and Graham win all their matches next week, they won't wrestle until the finals for first. So that is one benefit of having Graham in our district is depending on where you place, you won't see them
To the end.
until the end, which you'll have to beat them at some point if you want to be a champ, but
Right.
it's a little nicer to be second than 7th. All right, so Hancock gets the win there. They'll gather up the placers at 182 and line them up for a photo op.
Introducing your 2021 Southwest Central District Finals. 6th place, Young Davidson from Taylor. 5th place, Evan Hager from Northwestern. 4th place, Jude Hess from Ross. 3rd place, Eric Hancock, Wyoming. 2nd place, Colton Doyle, Clinton Massey. Your champion at 182, Carter Nees from Graham. Going for 5th place, 195 weight class, Sand Oaks, Monroe, Colton Holtgren from Milton Union. Going for 3rd, Eli Evans, Hayden, Zach Burrows, Graham.
Okay, for 5th place and 195 pounds. Oh, dang it. All right, the reason there's no action on mat number 1 is there was a default by Schulaw from DeSales. That's probably one of those, we already wrestled last week and Daniels beat me, so I'm not going to wrestle again. And like we were just discussing, they'll be separated on the bracket next week, so
Right.
I'm thinking that's what it is, 'cause I don't remember the DeSales kid being injured in the semis, but so either way, Daniels will be a district champion again. He'll be 44-0 going into the state meet next week, and the freshman from DeSales will be district runner-up. On mat number 5, for the 5th place, we have Oaks from Monroe. He's wrestling Holtgren from Milton Union, and Monroe is up 2-0. Starting the second period, he's down. And on mat number 3 is Burrows from Graham wrestling Emmons from Hamilton-Baden. And Hamilton-Baden just earned an escape at the start of their second period, so has a 1-point lead at the moment. Burrows had a half-hearted attempt there at a takedown, and Emmons defended it quickly. I don't remember Burrows having his knee taped up.
As heavily as it
Yeah.
seems like it is.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but things are starting to blur together. So he might be nursing a slight injury and maybe slowing his offensive attacks down. Emmons is a stout wrestler, hard to score on, so that could also be the case. Snap down, and it was a snap down, and Graham was going back in for a reshot, and Emmons stones him cold and stops him. And Graham goes into a duck under attempt and stoned again, and then Emmons blasts him with a double, finishes it nicely. Now he's got a cross wrist, and he'll either try to roll to his left for the tilt, or I'm not sure his plan now, but okay, he's going for a cross face. He'll try to get that tricep under and maintaining pressure. Doing a good job keeping Graham broken down. We're to 7-0 now on mat number, or for 5th place. 13 seconds left, and Oaks is cruising at the moment. All right, so we are 3-0 in favor of Hamilton-Baden on mat number 3. And it's the start of the 3rd period, and Graham's choice, and he chooses neutral. Again, he's Baden does a nice job slipping out of that front headlock, and he's going to double him up once again. Nice finish, driving him through the mat. And Graham is figuring out what to do now. We're going to get called. He's going to get called for stalling. Graham was laying on his belly and not improving, so the official is calling for stalling. Now we're out of bounds, so a little extracurricular activity after the whistle.
Probably wanting to know what they're doing tomorrow. Just exchanging some
contact info.
right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or he's not used to being down 5-0 and
That could be it too.
not reacting properly. But either way, it's still 1 minute left in the 3rd period, and he's still on the bottom, and Baden doing a nice job. He's got his near ankle hooked, so he'll work on a stack finish, which he's got him bent, And if he gets that left elbow and bends his head down a little tighter, he can almost work to a near cradle. But either way, he's got a lot of pressure on Burroughs. And see that. I believe that should have been a stalemate versus a stalling, but Baden wasn't moving much to improve, so official goes with the stall, starts him over. And Graham back to his feet, back to the mat. 20 seconds left. 5-0 Hamilton Baden. He can afford to give up a stalling point here, so he'll get on his toes out to the side, which puts pressure. Shows the official you're working a little bit, and he's going to finish the match 5-0. And then he returns the little favor after the whistle, and I'm sure they'll get each other's numbers and Snapchat information.
Make sure they can send each other Christmas cards.
That's right. That's right. All right, so Baden takes third there at 195 pounds. Oaks Monroe took fifth. And Danos had the default victory for first. So coach is getting a picture with probably dad and son. Head off the mat and they'll line up for their awards presentation, and it's 7:02. We got two more weight classes left.
Yeah, you may.
I think I might be a little over because they're going to have to line these guys up, and then also the 220s up.
Well, they look like they're chomping at the bit, so they're probably trying to get this in so you can win.
Sixth place, Cole Holtgren, Milk Union. Fifth place, Sam Oates, Monroe. Fourth place, Zach Burroughs, Graham. Third place, Eli Emmons, Baden. Second place, Max Sheelock, DeSalle. And your champion at 195, Baden Daniels, River Valley. Going for fifth place in the 220-pound weight class, Keith Kenner, Valley View, Joe Bauman, Clinton Massey. Going for third place, Antonio Burns, London, Gary Powell, Western Brown. Going for first place, Bevan Likens, Graham, Cooper Graham, from River Valley.
Okay, wrestling for fifth, the 220-pound weight class. That is Kenner from Valley View and Ballman from Clinton Massey. Wrestling for third is Powell from Western Brown and Burns from London. Powell in the brown with yellow stripes, and Burns is wearing his black. And on first place match is Graham from River Valley and Likens from Graham. So River Valley will be wearing the navy and gold on mat one. Likens earns a takedown to now make it, well, it's 3-0. They must have missed a penalty point of some sort. Likens is in control, and they go out of bounds. Clinton Massey has a tilt working. We're going to get back points there. Unfortunately, he locks his hands, though, as Valley View fights off his back. So he'll get three, and he'll give away one for the penalty. It's not a bad trade. On mat number 1, we have 3-1. Graham from River Valley is wrestling Graham.
Right.
So Graham should be called for stalling because he's, another example of
Impartiality.
yeah, I'll say it. That should have been stalling, and if it was somebody besides Graham, it would have been.
Okay, there we go.
There. We got 2 weight class left.
We appreciate your candor.
My impartialness has faded. But yeah, in that situation, the wrestler should make an attempt to return him to the mat, finish that takedown situation, or let him go. And
Right.
he wasn't doing either, and by definition, that's stalling. But a stalemate was given. So on mat number 3, Western Brown pinned.
Pretty quick.
Pinned Burns from London. It's a great weekend for the Western Brown wrestler, finishing 3rd. Coach Donathan is giving him some instruction after the match. I think that's Coach Donathan. His hair is quite a bit different than what I remember. I think Coach Donathan and all that flowing hair should dye it like the wrestlers did for his team. So Graham from River Valley is now on the top position in the 2nd period, and he is riding tough. He's on his at least 1 foot and got pressure on Graham, but Graham does a nice job getting to his feet. He's got real good hand control. But River Valley does a good job dropping down to a single and returning to the mat like you're supposed to. He digs out a near wrist and probably going to go out of bounds here and start over. There's 2 pins, I guess. I didn't see what happened in the 5th place match. But I think Ballman wins. Graham back to his feet. Those guys with a single situation, and River Valley lets go, and Graham spins behind for 2-point reversal. And he gets an escape, 5-2. 45 seconds left, so River Valley is in on the attack, but didn't create a very good angle there, so he's defended by the hips of the Graham wrestler. And now needs to continue moving, or he'll give up his advantage. Back to his feet. He's got both his elbows, so not in a position to score. And break apart, and we'll start again. 10 seconds left. And usually when the mat tapper person comes out, the wrestlers can sense that almost, or see it out of their periphery, and a lot of times they'll just let the time run off and go to the next period. So start of the 3rd period. Graham from River Valley will take down. He is down 5-2, excuse me. Has a foot up, and Graham decides to let the leg go instead of risk a stalling call. 5-3. So again, we talked about earlier, during all your training and conditioning through the season, you're in the wrestling room and coach is yelling at you. You have 1:30 left to get a takedown to win. Or on the other side, you're up by 2 points. What are you going to do to win?
Well, don't lose a shoe and don't stall.
Don't lose a shoe. Don't stall. Don't lock your hands. What else have we seen? Don't grab the headgear. I think our white shoe official must have found his shoe now
Because he's got 2 black
I
shoes
think
now.
he's got, yeah. So I'm probably going to guess that one of his compadres maybe
Lent him a shoe.
maybe either lent him some shoes or hid his shoe to start the session as a practical joke. I'm not sure, but maybe a little first-year district official initiation going on.
That would make sense.
All right, 5-3, 35 seconds left. River Valley with a attempt, but once again, he's going straight in. The commentators on the Big Ten Network will call that staying on the tracks, which means they're going in and out straight and not creating any angles and getting Graham to step one way or the other. And you're not going to score on a solid wrestler with that. And then you're going to get run over by hips. 7-4 now. He's in deep now on a single, but too little, too late. And Likens from Graham will win 7-4. And Graham from River Valley finishes runner-up. Powell once again finishes third. And Ballman from Clinton Massey pins for the 5th place final over Kenner from Valley View. Oh,
They're lining up fast. They must want to get out of here.
well, those 2 matches were pins, so they've had
Plenty of time to.
their time to decompress and catch their breath. I think I'm going to be a little over my time. It's 7:12.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I know. I should be fired.
2021 Southwest Central District Tournament Placers. 6th place, Keith Kenner, Valley View. 5th place, Joe Bauman, Clinton Massey. 4th place, Antonio Burns, London. 3rd place, Gary Powell, Western Brown. 2nd place, Cooper Graham from River Valley. Your 2020 champ is Evan Likens, Graham. Your 6th place match in heavyweight, Lane Schultz, Clinton Massey, Onyx Mendenhall, Wyoming. Going for 3rd place, Griffin Peacock, Ross, Brett Brooks, Wilmington. Going for 1st place, Thad Huff, London.
All right, the big guys are out here.
Nominees, Graham.
They saved the best for last.
That's right. Wrestling for 5th is Schultz from Massey and Mendenhall from Wyoming. And wrestling for 3rd is Peacock from Ross and Brooks from Wilmington. And those 2 wrestled in the finals last week. Peacock victorious there. And on mat number 1 for the championship is Huff from London and Neves from Graham. And once again, Graham wrestler Neves finished 1st at 220 last year. And Huff finished 2nd at 285. So these are 2 state qualifiers, 2 district finalists, wrestling again for 1st and 2nd. A 2-point takedown for Wyoming on the 5th place match. And Wilmington and Ross are tied up 0-0 at the end of the 1st period.
I think we've seen this before.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the more exciting matches we've had this weekend was Wilmington and the Wyoming heavyweight. And, Wilmington is going to let Ross up to his feet. It's going to be 1-0 in favor of Ross. Mat number 1, it's 0-0. And both those heavyweights moving very well. Both probably quite under the 285-pound limit. Mendenhall still in control on match for 5th place. 22 seconds left in the first period. A lot of hand fighting and head positioning on mat number 1. Break easy. Wait for the second period to begin. There's warning on Wilmington on match 3 for 3rd. He's not done a whole lot offensively and got caught in the head and arm there, and that'll be it. Ross will finish with that. Gets the pin, finishes 3rd. Clint Massey looks like he's working on either a reversal or a takedown. I can't tell. They call Mendenhall from Wyoming for stalling. So he must have just been holding on. Still 1-0 on mat number 1. Graham with the escape to start the second period. As we've seen, there's a few overtime matches that go into ultimate tiebreak. That first point is very important if that's the case at the end of this match. So somebody says stay aggressive, which is always good advice.
Right.
All right, so Wyoming maintains control in the second period here. It's going to be 2-0 going into the third period. Wilmington and Ross wrestlers are standing on the mat watching the first place match. Sure, they're telling each other what they would be doing to win the match.
Right.
If I was out there, I'd do this. And Brooks from Wilmington, he's a junior, so he'll have another chance to make the finals next year. Excuse me. 3-0 now in the 5th place match. Both wrestlers have a body lock and they're leaning on each other, waiting for somebody to get out of position. The referee says that's enough of that. Stalemate, and they'll start fresh. 1-0 still on mat number 1. It is London's choice. He'll choose down. And the Graham coach is giving both palms up like what is happening. Nevis is waiting patiently for Huff to reset his brace. And Mendenhall gets another takedown to extend his lead to 5-1. 45 seconds left. Graham needs to let him go. Yep. So tied up on mat number 1. And Neves with a double leg takedown drives his feet through the finish and creates an angle by a circular motion, so was able to score there. When the last match we saw a lot of straight on attacks.
Right.
Those are too easy to defend, and The circular motion scored it for Graham. So 3-1 for Graham, and 5-4 now for Mendenhall over Massey. 6-5. No, what is our official doing?
6-4.
6-4. Okay. 6-4. We got 6 seconds left. We'll see a home run attempt, maybe. No. Massey says that's enough. That's a great weekend, though, being a placer. So Mendenhall takes 5th. Huff from London takes injury time. He seemed to be working on his left foot. I don't know if they're taping up the foot or... Oh, coach is telling people up here in the stands that his shoe's ripping. So they'll need to take the injury time to fix the equipment.
So now he has one black shoe and one white shoe.
Yeah. But all that tape on the shoe is going to make that shoe slippery. So if he goes to push off and it's not exactly right, it's going to slip, and that might cost him a position. Yep, there it is, right there.
Right there.
So 5-2, and Huff looks back at his coaches like, "What have you done to me?" The London contingents are
Trying to find a shoe for him.
trying to find a shoe. The official has stopped the action. I think they're going to let him switch shoes here. Not running any injury time off here, so I think the official realized that it was a tear in the shoe, not a shoelace or a illegal fastener. So they're giving him a chance to put on a shoe with proper traction. And I think he's adjusted now. So 45 seconds left. He's down 5-2. But now he has 2 shoes with traction. So does a good job bouncing to his feet, working hands. Nevis runs him out of bounds. So 39 seconds left. Back to his feet. Huff does a good job popping up for a heavyweight. So now he's down 5-3 with 30 seconds left. It's still enough time for one good attack, but he snaps Graham down into his own leg. Graham says thank you. He finishes the single leg. It's 7-3, and that's probably how this is going to end, because the action has slowed down quite a bit. Oh, there goes Huff back to his feet. If he can escape like that next week, he's going to find himself doing well in the tournament. So, a sportsmanlike slap of the hands. Both wrestlers appreciating each other, and Graham wins another district championship for their heavyweight. Huff finishes second for the second year in a row as a junior, so he'll be back again next year with a chance to get his elusive district title. So we are going to be wrapping up here shortly. They'll line up the heavyweights for their awards presentation. I missed my cutoff time by
How many minutes? 8 minutes?
Well, now it's 7:25, so
Yeah.
I would have been on time, but we had that shoe malfunction. So
That's right. I forgot about that. We'll give you a little bit of extra time for that.
that's right. So the heavyweights are lined up. Graham ended up winning the
Did he get a shoe?
championship. Yeah, he did get a replacement shoe, and he's going to do some. He'll do some damage next week, I think, because he's hard to hold down. If you can get a heavyweight that can escape, that's a placer at some times. So the finishers here, heavyweight, Schultz from Massey is in 6th. Mendenhall, Wyoming is 5th. Brooks from Wilmington is 4th. Peacock Ross is 5th. Huff from London is 2nd. And Nevis from Graham is 1st. So the action is completed.
Good job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. Let me see the updated team scores here. Before that weight class, so Graham's going to end up with 294 points.
Oh, here it is.
And the top 2 teams. In 10th place, Western Brown, 58 points.
Western Brown with 58 in 10th, and DeSales in 6th or 9th. Monroe's in 8th. Clint Massey with a good showing is in 7th. Alder 7th. Ross is in 5th. Licking Valley's in 4th. And London with a half point more than Licking Valley's in 3rd. Wyoming finishes in 2nd place, so they're district runners-up. They'll get a piece of hardware for their trophy case, and they have 106 points. And
Graham doesn't have anywhere to put their trophies.
yeah, Graham has another one. They'll
They probably have just.
put somewhere, and they'll end up with, I believe it's going to be 294 points when they put in their heavyweight match. But almost scoring 300 at the district level is very impressive.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yep, and I believe they qualified 11. Let me double check real quick. They brought 12, and I think all 12 qualified for state. So they're set up for yet another state title run. Excuse me, next week, and we wish them luck and all the other qualifiers from our district.
Right.
It's been a pleasure.
So for Brian Penix, this is Rick Phillips, and for our sponsor, Sam's Meats, we appreciate you tuning in to tonight's broadcast on CampusNation.com, your internet sports authority. Good night, everybody.
Good night.